hello, we're live! And welcome to Off the Record Live! I'm Joe Vito with American Songwriter. We're here in Neon Media's wonderful studios in Nashville, Tennessee, and joining us today is the wonderful Deana Carter. How are you?
What's up? How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing? How do you feel right now?
I feel amazing. Would you like to feel?
Folks, she feels amazing. It's incredible. We're so excited to have you here today. Oh, and it just dawned on me too that the show is starting. So I have to remind you that if you haven't subscribed yet to the American Songwriter Twitch, I'm very disappointed. We're trying very hard. We're having a lot of fun. Deana Carter's here and she's feeling amazing. So you should subscribe. We're getting up there. This is a relatively new show. It's a relatively new program. If you're watching right now, you're supporting us, and that's amazing. So keep supporting us, and thank you. That's right. Deana, we're so excited to have you here. We're talking about your debut record, Did I Shave My Legs for This, which came out 25 years ago.
Yes.
It's an amazing album. We're going to be diving into the story of the record. I want to talk about kind of how it came to be, how you got there, what it was like making it, what it was like once it came out. We even want to do maybe a track-by-track kind of discussion.
Ooh.
But before we dive into all of that, we're going to do our icebreakers.
Okay.
And usually we start with a question to break the ice. But today, we're going to start with a gift, which is, and you probably already know it, we got you strawberry wine.
What?
Ah!
Love
Strawberry wine.
Are
Right
you gonna?
here.
You're gonna open it.
I'm gonna open it, but let me tell y'all. We're gonna see if I can figure it out. Is it just a screw off?
I think so.
It is!
Ooh.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yay!
I'll pour before you say when.
This is a bonus. Keep
Oh,
going.
all right.
That's
all right.
good. That's
Ooh,
perfect. Thank you.
perfecto.
Thank you so much.
Woohoo! Now, I've never had strawberry wine
Ooh.
before.
It smells like lip smacker lip gloss. All right, well, let's toast. In
Toast.
honor of 25 years of strawberry wine and more. Cheers.
And toast all you at home. Oh. Ooh, that's very good. That
is
tastes
good.
a lot more like strawberry than I thought it
Yes.
would.
And that is your first?
That's my first. How beautiful. How full
What?
circle. A song about firsts. It's my first.
I love that.
This is a very exciting moment for me.
Yes. Me too, by the way. That's actually really good.
That is really good.
You're the first interview I've had today that has served strawberry wine, so yay.
Y'all hear that? Our producer, Michael, home run on this one.
Thank you.
Michael's so excited back
So
there, y'all.
good.
All right, we're going to dive into some icebreakers. We're going to get to
Okay.
know the real Deana.
Okay.
What time do you wake up in the morning? And what time is your morning routine? What's it like? What do you do when you wake up?
I set my alarm for 6:15, 6:30 every morning. I do snooze. I hit the snooze. It annoys my husband to no end. But I have to make sure my son, who is a senior in high school, is up and out the door so he's not late. So,
Important.
yes, 6:30.
Okay. Do you drink coffee?
I do.
How do you take it?
Used to be completely black for years and years, and I have recently discovered non-fat, like sugar-free vanilla sweetener, which I love, and so just a little vanilla sweetener in it in the morning.
Makes your life
Creamer.
a little bit sweeter.
Yes.
There
Exactly.
you go. Okay. What time of the day are you most productive? You're getting up early. Are you a morning person?
I'm most productive when I get to the gym after that. If I get to the gym early and get my workout in, then I get showered and cleaned up and ready for the day. And if I stay in the yoga pants all day, girls, you know what I'm talking about, then that is not a very productive day. That's like, it's easy to do too. So, got to get to the gym, get in the shower, get dressed, and then you're ready.
There you go. Ready to face the world.
That's right.
Okay. Do you prefer texting or calling?
Texting.
Texting.
I'm old school, but I love the text. I really do.
yeah.
It's like immediate, I do love to talk to people, but texting is, you get more done.
You get more done. That's right. You can say exactly what you want. You can send it at any time. You don't have to catch
Right.
them.
Yes.
there you go.
Emojis. It's really fun. I like to text.
This is perfect. My next question is, What emoji is your most used emoji?
My most used emoji is this one.
Oh, the shrugging one.
The shrugging.
Okay.
I use that a lot. So.
That's an expressive emoji.
It is.
No one has ever answered with that one before.
Really?
Yeah, the shrugging emoji.
There you go. See?
We're seeing it all live, folks. Okay. If you had to describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be?
Describe myself in 3 words. That's 4 words. I'm going through my mind. Hold on.
Okay. We can handle 4. I think. Do we have room, Michael, for 4? Okay. We got a thumbs up. We can go with 4.
I love eating healthy. That's so boring, but it's true.
That's good though. Yeah, absolutely.
Love strawberry wine. That's 3 words.
Oh my gosh.
Yay!
Yes. What's your healthy what's an ideal dinner for you type vibe? Like what's your
Grilled fish and veggies, for sure. A salad, if I want to spoil. I like the holidays, though, and those are coming up. Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and that's deviled eggs and, the dressing, so I get to splurge around the holidays. That's good.
Oh, yes. That'll be very good. Okay. If you could have a candid conversation, like nothing holding back, they're going to tell you whatever you ask with anyone, dead or living.
Ooh.
Who would it be?
Dead or living? I would have to say someone kin to me, like in my bloodline, from like a great grandparent. Oh. Like my mother is a Polk, so James K. Polk is in my bloodline, and he's my great grunkle. Pretty much. So I would pick him because he was a president of the United States, and the 11th president. I would love to sit and have a conversation with my great grunkle about what that was like.
I would pay so much money to watch that.
Right?
Deana Carter with James Polk.
Yes.
One night only in conversation.
James Knox Polk. Yes, I would love that.
There you go. I didn't even know the middle name. You got the facts there. Oh my gosh. Okay. If you could instantly become an expert in any subject, what would it be? Or like a skill, anything?
Ooh, I would be a surgeon.
A surgeon? What
yes.
kind of surgeon?
Plastic, of course.
Oh, yeah. The best kind.
I could work on myself. It would be awesome.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, you'd be the expert in the world, so yeah, you'd be able to do it for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's awesome. All right, now this is a relatively new icebreaker question. I tried it out last time. I still feel like it's a little invasive, but it's kind of fun.
Uh-oh, hold on.
Yeah, you can get a drink first.
Okay, go.
What is your phone wallpaper? Like the background of your phone?
My phone wallpaper is my son and me. When he was younger and liked me, like when he's hugging me.
No.
Yes.
Good times.
When he was in love with Mom, I have to keep that memory alive, so that's on the wallpaper.
Is that inside and outside, like lock screen and home screen?
Yes. The lock screen is that one, and the home screen is he and I sharing a piece of spaghetti, like the 101 Dalmatians. Yes.
Yeah, all right.
Aww. That's really sad that I don't have anybody else on my screen. But I can't help it. It's a very cute moment.
It's very sweet.
At Dan Tana's in Hollywood, that was us when he was little.
That sounds adorable.
I don't think he'd do that with me now, but yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Shout out.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. If you had to delete all but 3 apps on your phone, what would you keep?
Oh, I'm a grouper. Like I've got them all grouped in the boxes perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
All but 3. Yelp.
Okay.
I have to have Yelp.
Yeah.
Maps. I have to have
That's an
maps,
important one,
right? And probably my guitar chord. Like I can look up lyrics and get lead sheets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have that one. And I also have a devotion, a Bible app that I love. So that would be 4.
All right, well, we have room for 4, as we learned earlier.
Yes. So those would be the 4. I'd have to have those 4.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you, like, you say you, like, load lead sheets up a lot. Do you do that, like, just for fun or, like, a way to keep, like, the chops up? Like, where you just, like, play songs?
I do it mostly I do a TGIF series on my YouTube channel and across the platforms of socials, and it's my TGI episodes. And so I will sing a little song, and for me to do that at the beginning, I look up the lyric sheet and make sure I've got the right chords and stuff like that. So once a week, it's kind of a devotion, like, inspirational thing that I do. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
All right. Okay. If you had to pick your favorite decade, what would it be?
70s.
The 70s? Why?
Fast. It rolled right off the tongue. Because I lived a blink of that decade and then all 80s. But the 70s, we had the hustle. It's like at the end of disco, sort of, and before hair bands were huge. And just the music of that era was so amazing. And the clothes were pretty styling, too.
Absolutely, yes. I was just having an in-depth conversation the other day about 1978.
Yeah.
What a year for music.
Oh.
Everything was happening.
Incredible. Amazing, amazing, amazing.
Okay, all right. If you could have an unlimited supply of anything, what would it be?
Well,
What's happening?
that and probably if I could have the wine with the bread and cheese, like the cheese. You have to have the cheese plate to go with the wine. So unlimited supply of cheese.
Yes, you got to get your charcuterie set up.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
100%.
Absolutely. That is actually the correct answer, I believe.
Oh, and the toilet paper with the smelly roll. Like I like the scented center of the toilet paper.
It's like the cardboard.
Yes,
piece of it
that's
is, like,
genius.
scented.
Like why didn't I think of that? They need to scent it strawberry.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna get you a merchandising deal.
Perfect.
Deana Carter flavored toilet paper.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Ooh, what is your go-to karaoke song if you were at karaoke night?
Karaoke terrifies me, by the way. I know people find that hard to believe, but I get so freaked out at a karaoke spot. My friend here in Nashville has Sid's Gold Room in East Nashville, and they have live karaoke with a piano player. Like you can do it live. If you haven't been, you guys have to go check it out. But I get freaked out with karaoke. I can't even say what the song would be. I honestly, Strawberry Wine, I guess, because I know. I'd pick one of mine.
You know it.
I would pick one of my songs. Yes, I would.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's good. Well, I hope I run into you at a karaoke bar sometime. That'd be kind of fun. Like, that's her?
Right.
Am I crazy? How many drinks have I had?
Do you know that I heard Barry Gibb lost a Barry Gibb lookalike contest one time?
What?
Speaking of the 70s and whatever.
Oh, no.
He lost. He was in the running, and they were like, "You're not Barry Gibb." He's like, "I swear, here's my ID." You know.
They're like, this guy's crazy.
Yeah.
Fake ID.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow. Okay. What's one musical artist that you're a fan of that maybe people wouldn't guess that you're a fan of? Or you can name a few. You can name 4.
Oh, I can go. Yeah, 4 is my number. I was born on the 4th. That's why I'm locked in.
Full circle.
I have to say, well, I love Dolly Parton.
Right.
Of course. I love her. I love everything about her. Queen. I'm a huge Queen fan. Love epic guitars. Brian May makes my day. I love him. I follow him on socials. Boston.
Oh, yeah.
But see, you can see I love classic rock. Bread. David Gates and Bread. That's the ultimate makeout rock.
Yes.
So, yes.
Which it still is.
Nothing
has surpassed that in terms of makeout quality.
It's just like perfect.
Well, that's cool to hear too, because even obviously your music is country music, but you can see like kind of that overlap of just like powerful songs where the harmony kind of leads everything, but then you have these soaring vocals over top of it.
Thank you.
You can see like mirrors there.
The
echoes.
influence, right?
Yes.
I did listen to all that.
That is very cool.
Thank you.
What was the first music you ever bought? Whether that was like a single or a record, just like anything you bought with your own money.
Well, I was lucky to have an older brother. We had a turntable. You know, we had the big Barbie stereo in the living room. So I had an older brother that had all these great albums, so we kind of shared. I'm trying to think what I bought. I bought cassettes to drive to college in Knoxville, between Nashville and Knoxville, and I listened to Bonnie Raitt, Nancy Griffith, and again, like Bread and, you know, those kind of bands on cassette.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the first concert you ever went to?
Elton John at Municipal Auditorium.
Oh, all right.
That I actually went on a date to I think I was 15. That's young. I had a date. But yeah, it was Elton John at Municipal Auditorium.
Was it the first date? Or was
No.
it like you'd been, okay, but it was your first concert?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa, Elton John. Do you remember like what tour, what record or anything?
I don't, but that would have been, I'll tell you my age, that would have been in the 80s. So, Primo Elton.
Primo Elton.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Primo Elton.
My father saw Elton John on the Goodbye Yellowbrick Road tour, and it was the first show that he ever went to.
Ooh.
And he talks about it all the time because it was in Mesa, Arizona in like 1975 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason my father like tells the story all the time is Elton John played at a water park, but it was like, to see the show, you had to stand in the wave pool. Like,
Really?
with the waves on.
Wow.
And apparently, like, multiple times throughout the show, Elton John kept, like, looking out and being like, this is really weird. Right. They're all in a swimming pool right now.
Wow.
Like, that's kind of, it makes it harder to dance, I guess.
Yeah.
Too. My dad got one of the piano strings out of the piano that night.
Really?
Apparently,
That's
he chopped it up with an axe.
What?
Who knows? Maybe also...
Concerts have changed.
Yeah, I've never seen a show in a wave pool.
Me either. It's not too late though. We have to.
Yeah, bring it back.
Yeah,
Come
right.
on. Ugh, wow. Well, this is my call to action from the music industry. All right. Now, we're going to go through and we're going to do some favorites. It's going to be kind of like the lightning round of the icebreakers.
Okay, awesome.
Is there like a favorite performer that you've seen live?
Bruce Springsteen. I've seen him quite a few times, and he's amazing.
Long
Great,
shows,
yes,
too.
long shows.
You did it all.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's
amazing.
awesome. Okay. Favorite food when you're on the road?
Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel! Yeah!
Cracker Barrel. Shout out to Cracker Barrel. I love it.
Yes,
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. I'm going to ask what your favorite drink is.
Favorite drink is wine.
Wine. Now,
Legit.
obviously, you got strawberry wine.
Yes.
Is that your favorite kind of wine, or do you have
I
a
think
stronger
I'm in a
preference?
Cabernet zone right now. I was in Pinot Noir for years, but I also like whites and the variety, varietals that you can get. So wine in general would be the deal. But I will say this, I did just start flirting with tequila with a shot of jalapeno olive juice in it.
Yes.
So good.
Absolutely.
So good. Like,
Very
that's
good.
really good. Then you don't need anything else.
Just tried that very recently myself, the jalapeno
You did?
shot. Yeah. I was like, no way I'm going to taste that. That sounds disgusting.
Did you love it?
And then, yeah, I was like, well, it really works.
I'm telling you, my husband was worried about me when he saw me come outside with tequila. He's like, oh, what are we going to talk about now?
Oh my gosh. Okay, what's your favorite season of the year?
Fall.
Fall.
Even though
Good
I get
time.
allergies in the fall, but I do
In
love
the Valley of Death, that is Nashville.
That's what the Indians did call Nashville, was the Valley of Death, the Bowl of Death, actually.
The Bowl
yes.
of Death. Oh, yes. There you
but
go.
because we sit in a basin, and it's hard to get all of the allergens out of here. But yes, fall is my favorite.
Beautiful. What's your favorite word?
My favorite word.
Yeah, this is like, what is it, inside the actor's studio? That
Yes, my favorite word would probably be cattywampus.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good southern sounding word, too. It's got that charm
When things
to
aren't
it.
right, they're cattywampus. I love that.
That's good. That's underrated. It needs to come back.
Yes.
You need to insert it into the lexicon again.
Yes.
All right. Favorite film?
Seriously?
Yeah, we're asking all the really hard ones. They're gonna get harder. There's
Liar,
like 3
liar.
left. Liar, liar.
I love Jim Carrey films. I just love them. And Liar, Liar is one I always go back to, and I laugh like crazy. I love that movie.
Timeless. It's a timeless film.
Love it.
Favorite TV show?
Ted Lasso.
Oh,
I love that show. We're full in this whole, for season 2, we watched the whole, all of it. Love. Love, love.
Shout out Jason Sudeikis.
Yes.
Favorite book?
The Bible. Truly
Classic.
my favorite book in the world.
Best-selling, too.
That's right.
There you go. Favorite color?
Purple.
Purple.
Yeah.
Royal.
And yellow. That's
Purple and
that's like LSU. I don't mean it that way, but I mean
You could
truly.
mean it like Planet Fitness. You could
I know. I love yellow. It's not a color that most people pick, but I do love yellow.
All right. Well, this has been Icebreakers. That's it. That's the
What?
We ran out of
That's
icebreaker
it. We're out of
questions.
ice.
Yes.
Okay.
But do we have some questions coming in from chat, perhaps? Oh, I'm getting a
We
thumbs up.
do. We do.
What are they,
wait.
Catherine?
Yes, so we've got a question from TCB_everyday who wants to know, what is your desert island record? If you could only pick one, which one are you taking?
Ooh, desert island record. I would have to say the Best of Queen, probably. Like their full compilation of everything.
That's a good answer because it's dynamic too. They
Yes.
have so many different moods, and even in one song. you can get-
Absolutely, I love that record.
Wow.
Love them.
Do we have any more questions from chat?
We do. We have another
This is
one.
Perfect.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
So Music Fiend 124 wants to know, what's your best advice for aspiring artists or other music professionals?
Aw. Well, best advice is have a pin on the map of what it is you want to do, right? Specifically. So if it's be a songwriter or be an artist, just make sure that you have it really clear in your head what it is that you want to do, and then find the best place to do it in and go to that place and start meeting people and encircling yourself with the right community and put your steps to your dreams. Yeah.
All right. Do we have any more? I was too busy scrolling through looking at all the beautiful comments.
We have some, but people are really taking over this Ted Lasso train. People are jumping on board with that. We've got a lot of support for Ted Lasso.
Oh,
so.
yay. Woo, we love it.
Shout out. Oh
I
my
did my first tour in the UK. So we did an album, Did I Shave My Legs for This originally came out in the UK first. And so I went over there and toured with a guy named Jimmy Nail and went all over and had such a great time. And then we came back to the States and put out the new record here. But I just have such a love in my heart for the UK and for the whole, so I was, the accent and just the environment and the whole 9 yards. I feel like Ted Lasso. Like, I feel like I was Ted Lasso first. And so I relate to him so much. I could just curl up under his arm like I've been through that. So, yeah.
Oh my God. Well, Jason Sudeikis, you can hear it.
Yes.
Oh, let's see. We
Yeah,
got even
so
more. Oh,
speaking
chat, y'all are
of the
coming
UK,
through.
speaking of
Yes.
the UK, Michaela Wheatley wants to know, will you consider playing shows in the UK in the future?
I would love to. It's been a while. And yes, I would love to come back and set up a tour and revisit all the beautiful venues that we played before. So absolutely. And on this new release, we actually have footage. It's the 25th anniversary of Did I Shave My Legs for This? So they have some videos from the UK that they weren't released here. So we've got some things that are specific to the UK that were never released in the States that they're finally compiling and pulling together. So you guys, November 5th, you got to check out the re-release of the new version of Did I Shave My Legs for This, the whole album.
Yes.
A lot of bonus stuff. Super cool.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so, such a cool kind of full circle kind of moment, too. That you get to do that.
Absolutely.
Oh, my gosh. Well, folks at home, we're going to be asking questions the whole time we're streaming. So if you've got them, keep them coming.
Yes.
We're here to talk about it. We want to know what you think. Send us a comment. Say hi.
Yes.
So I want to talk about, obviously, this amazing record, Did I Shave My Legs for This? And kind of, I want to start by setting a bit of the scene of how you kind of got to making that record. And obviously, your father was an amazing session musician here in town, Fred Carter. And folks at home, if you haven't like looked up his story or like the stuff he's played on, he played on The Boxer, he played on all sorts of Bob Dylan kind of stuff. It's totally an amazing story.
Yes.
But I'd love to know about kind of the development of your musicality and your sense of artistry kind of in all of that. When did you first start taking to music and being like, I'm going to be a performer, or kind of thinking about yourself in that context?
I think growing up in the studio, you know, he was part of the A-team here in Nashville. We would take him his guitars to and from the studio, and then he had a studio himself in north of town. And just growing up in that environment, I was immersed in how the process audibly went down, layers of music. Like I understood at a very young age a producer's mindset and the sounds and how they come to be, and just the making of a record, right? I just was in that environment. So I'm very passionate about studio time. I love it. It's the most comfortable spot. It's like my whoopee place in the world is the studio, and I love it. So I would say first and foremost, he was a lover of songwriters that were artists that would write the song, play the song themselves, you know, put the product out, do all that. And so I have a super appreciation for being able to sort of do the whole process. And I just, at a young age, I started writing songs on the piano. They were terrible, but just little like young kid stuff, you know. And then I got in high school. I was in the church choir and sang in a group of people. I learned very early how to do tenor and alto and fit my part in and listen, and you know. So it was I guess a culmination of all of these phases of my life that got me to the place of, I never really thought I would be an artist, to be honest. I always thought I would be a background singer or just a songwriter or a producer, but I didn't know that I would be able to put all of that together and do the work myself, like as the front person. So that's really how it came about, is my background and being immersed in the music. And once I graduated from college, it's a funny story. I would get hired, like I put myself out there in the college paper, needing money to pay my bills and stuff, and aside from the jobs I had, the faculty would need piano players at their faculty meetings sometimes, or a reception or something. So I would just take these music books, and it had the guitar chords up top. I couldn't read what I was playing note for note, but I would just play chords and make it very elaborate, you know, at these faculty receptions and things. And I would make like $100 or $200 or something. And then I realized, well, I'm not very good at just the music by myself. Like I need to put words to this and maybe have a message. And went on to write and start doing open mic nights and writers' nights at Douglas Corner and Bluebird and all those places here in Nashville. So you have to really get out there and be willing. That's why karaoke freaks me out. Because I still remember those feelings of like, oh, please don't judge me. You know, auditioning for Opryland and things like that. I did put myself out there in those challenging situations to make sure that I was giving it my best shot. You know, so that's really, songwriting came first, and then I got signed as a writer from those experiences, and then the artist thing came afterwards.
Yeah, wow. Well, I'm sure all those experiences probably forged you into the artist you kind of are.
Yeah.
And even hearing you talk about loving the studio and kind of having like that producer's mind, that's such a cool thing, because so many of the interviews I do now with like younger artists who've grown up on the internet, it's kind of this interesting phenomenon where if somebody like learned how to play music just on guitar and they were just a guitarist, you can kind of tell that when they go to write a song, they're going to write a song like a guitarist writes a song versus a pianist writes a song. And now you have these kids who write songs like how just a producer would write a song because they started on a computer.
Yes.
And so that's cool to hear that you kind of got like an analog version of that by literally being in the studio.
Yeah.
Do you feel like when you write, you are able to kind of approach it of like hearing a finished project or hearing the production as you're like laying the seeds?
Full bore, yes, absolutely. absolutely. And it's a great point because I'm so blown away by the new artists today that are so equipped to be able to demo their own stuff. Like, just they've got all the software, everything that they need to do it right at their fingertips, and they promote themselves. They are such masters at social media. Like, it is really inspiring to see new artists come up and be able to be autonomous in that way, and do it. It's very inspiring. But I did start as a piano player, and I didn't pick up guitar until I was probably 24,
wow.
late in life.
Yeah.
So my dad being a guitar player, it's like I hear everything in layers, and songs are written, and while we're writing them, I'm already into the studio and the video, for it. So if it's visual enough in the songwriting process, then I know it's going to be okay, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. And it's so cool to hear, everything you're saying, kind of implying that you are the kind of artist who really thinks about every single element and every single aspect of your work, and I think that really shows.
For sure. Thank
Whoa.
you.
All right, so we're going to go to an ad break shortly, but before we do, I'm going to have one more question for
Okay.
you in this little period of our interview, which is to kind of bring us through. You got signed to Capitol.
Yes.
In 94, correct?
Yeah,
After
like
farming.
93, actually.
Yeah. So what was that like, the initial kind of moment where you got that deal, and how did I Shave My Legs for this kind of start coming together as like an intentional project you were working on?
Well, I had a writing deal at Polygram, actually, first, and then a good friend of mine, Herky Williams, who I would say really helped. He helped me so much. He introduced me to the people at Capitol. He introduced me to Jimmy Bowen, who was the head of the label at the time, and really believed in my songs and was bridging that gap between just songwriter to artist. And then Bowen signed me and did a development deal with me. And back then, that was usually like a couple of years of, teaching me media training and mic etiquette and like all this stuff that just really honing your skills for stage and how to handle the other aspects of the business that you're not aware of. You can sit and write the songs and all that, but you have to be really good in doing interviews, be entertaining, be engaging, like you are. You're so good
And
at
like
that.
you are too, the training worked, folks.
But so that's how that came about. And in the process of me getting signed and writing these songs, Willie Nelson heard a tape of mine, and he worked with my dad years back and remembered me as a little kid and invited me to Farm Aid in '94 at the Superdome. And I walked out there, the only girl on the whole bill, and sat with Chuck Jones, my co-writer, and he went and played guitar with me. And we did I Shave My Legs for This? And the crowd went bananas. And I thought, oh, this is good. This is I'm bit now, like I'm done. I've been in an arena where people responded to something I wrote. Great. That's where that started.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go to an ad break, and then we're going to be back. We're going to talk more about this record, more about the songs. We'll also be answering more fan questions. So if you got them, send them in the chat. We're here to read.
Bring them.
But we'll be right back with more Deana Carter. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Off the Record Live. We're here with Deana Carter. We're going to be talking more. Did I shave my legs for this? So this is Off the Record. I want to kind of peel the curtain back now. Let's step into the studio when you're
Yes.
making this. You had quite a big hand in producing this record as well. What did all of that kind of look like? Because you didn't end up getting credit for co-producing, correct?
Right. I know. That was before they gave credit to artists and girls especially. But Bowen had me in, specifically wanted me to co-produce with him. He, as I said, mentored me, and he made me keep a notebook that was like this thick for what we were doing, keeping track of everything. I still have boxes of lead sheets of all of the orchestration that David Campbell did that I got to work with him on as well. And I have them in storage. There's just certain things I cannot part with, from this whole process. But I kept a notebook. He paid me to co-produce the record with him. And when we brought Chris Farron in, after Bowen had left Capitol, we brought Chris Farron in and brought Steve Marcantonio in to engineer, who did an amazing job. The record sounds like it does, because Steve pulled some of the old, because we did half the old record and then added new songs to the old record as well, and some new instrumentation. And Marcantonio just did an amazing job sonically of this record sounding like it does. I mean, I'd give him 100% credit for the fantastic job of the way the album sounds. And all the musicians, of course, that did such a fabulous job. So that's really it. I'd been there for every note, every vocal part, every bit of mixing and mastering, and the whole process. I was there. And the re-recording of the 2 songs, Strawberry and Shave, same thing. Recording, Chuck Ainley engineered this part, because I told Chuck, and I'm old friends with him. I never got to work with him back when we were all running around together in the early 90s. And I told him back then I wanted to work with him someday. And you never know when you might not get another chance. So I wanted to follow through with the promise to Chuck and pulled him into this re-recording, an old friend, and had him be a part of it. And got to bring in Lauren Elena, Ashley McBride, Martina McBride, Kylie Morgan, Sarah Evans, Terry Clark, and Vince Gill on guitar. And so yeah, it's just a beautiful combination of the things I got to do with Jimmy Bowen, Chris Farron, Steve Marcantonio, Chuck Ainley, musicians on all the projects. I mean, it's just amazing.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's so cool. So even like hearing about the record, and like you kind of had started making half of it with Bowen, and then you had the change up, you had all the other songs in. That's a lot of like kind of back and forth.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on
Yeah.
there. Do you feel like having kind of the experience that you had and kind of just like the knowledge of how Nashville works, or even the ability to like really utilize your community and the support around you was a big part of, I mean, the record came out amazing, and it does sound like such like an incredible, like cohesive kind of project. And so for it to have been born from kind of this like, situation that maybe could have stunted creativity, but instead you have this like beautiful blossom. What do you kind of think was part of like the formula to success there?
I think it was very challenging, because we did go through a few label head changes, and when a company goes through something, all of the people that work there go through it with the company. So it was just important for me to stay focused on what we were doing and the transition from A to B, and being the common denominator, honestly, of being there for both processes. It was just important to keep it all on track and moving forward. So I wouldn't change it at all. I wouldn't change a thing about it. I loved working with Bowen. I love him. And I loved working with Chris Farron and Steve and Chuck, and just the way it's all turned out. Amazing.
Yeah. Now, put us in your shoes. It kind of took a while for the record to get out there and to really pick up steam and become the success it was. And even like you mentioned, it came out in the UK first. And you did that, so there was this rollout. What was that period like? Was it just a whirlwind? Was it surreal at moments to kind of like go through all those motions and then end up at the top there?
Well, there were some lulls, like coming from the UK and in that transition time that you mentioned. But Scott Hendricks, I give him credit. He was the head of Capitol at the time when I came back to the States, and we had a different single picked out, I've Loved Enough to Know, initially, and we had gone out to radio, and all the fans, I would play Strawberry Wine in the studio live, and everybody was calling in like, we like this other song better. And so Scott was really instrumental and followed through with changing the single very quickly from I've Loved Enough to Know to Strawberry Wine, and did it in 2 weeks' time, and shot a new video and the whole 9 yards. Regina can tell you, she worked at the label at the time with me, and it was incredible. It was incredible.
Regina's got a face on that's like, yes, I did, and I was there, and it was incredible.
Yeah, so, and then everything was, just started picking up steam, It took a while. I think it was 16 weeks or something for Strawberry Wine to actually chart and get the legs. But once it did, the fans were just so responsive, but they were responsible for it in the first place, so, and radio being so supportive. So then it started taking off, and we went on the Alan Jackson tour for 2 years. We were doing arenas, and that helped. And it's just like the building blocks were now set in place for us to climb the charts and see it through. And it was just so fulfilling to be out on the stage and be with those crowds every night. And Alan was awesome. It was a great launching pad for a successful record to set us up 25 years later.
Yeah, and I guess it's got to be like the amazing thing about it, because, even hearing you say that story, I'm thinking, well, I bet that felt so great to have like these songs that you had been working on for a few years, even at that point, and to be able to go out and have the success and be able to play them on that level. But even, excuse me again, even now, it's been 25 years, and people still love this music, and they're still responding to it. So I'm sure that's got to be an awesome
Well, even the sequencing of an album, it's, to me, every facet of making an album is so important, and the sequencing is really important. I talk about even the seconds between songs, like that breath, it's got to feel right. I told you when we were on the break, editing, I love to edit. Like, I'm an editing nerd, I love it. But it's such an important key in how the record flows and how it feels, that your sequencing is perfect. And the seconds between songs doesn't need to be exactly the same each time. You need to feel that pulse and that, what's the mood of the next song and how soon does that mood need to start. So very important to me in the mixing and mastering of our record that we paid super attention to sequencing and timing between all of that stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that is so true. I mean, folks at home, I don't know when the last time you like put on headphones and did like a deep listen to this whole record was, but I love that element to it where the top line is incredible. You got the melodies, your voice is great, they're really catchy songs. It's like you can listen to it on your phone speaker and you'd have a really good time. But then even diving in, every single thing that you hear, if there's something audible, I mean, it comes across so well.
Thank you.
And it looks like we might have some questions from chat.
Oh, yay!
We do. We've got more questions coming in the
Good.
chat.
Good.
So Squid Dog 1 wants to know, looking back on your work and writing in both Shave and Wine, was there an element of that was autobiographical? Do you feel like you write from a different place now?
Wow, amazing. I think, well, I will say it's probably from a different place, because back then it was about my first love and I was a lot younger, and so my life experience hadn't been as deep and rich. I wasn't a parent. I've gone through a lot, 2 divorces, single momming, like there's been a lot of change in my life. So I would say I would just write now from a more grateful place, a place of fullness, as opposed to a place of maybe what I don't have, as a more mature person. So, but I still want to always write with a sense of humor and very truthful, from a very truthful place.
All right.
Good question.
Yeah,
That's a really good question.
Squid Dog. Good name, too.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So originally, we were thinking of maybe doing like a track-by-track dissection. I don't know if we're going to have time for a total track-by-track.
Yeah.
But what I'd love to do is kind of go through and just like point out a few highlights. And maybe I can mention something. You can tell me if you have a story about the song, or, we can kind of go anywhere with this.
Okay.
But I'd love to kind of maybe use some of these songs as case studies
Okay.
for your process. I want to ask about I've Loved Enough to Know.
Yes.
Because it's a great song.
Yes.
And something I love about this song, too, is it's got that awesome little like mini modulation at the end of the verse where it goes to that kind of like flat 7. And that's just such a cool, like from a songwriting perspective, it's such a great way that you can kind of augment a song, and then it totally brings it to this other place where it becomes this like really powerful thing. What can you tell us about this tune and kind of how it came together?
I love that. Thank you. Such an awareness. That's really sweet. Well, the song was an upbeat version, I guess, of like Count Me In. This was an early song as well. It was of like wanting to take a chance, but in reverse. Like, I might not want to take a chance again, right? Count Me In's about taking chances again and wanting to step back, your toe back into the water. And I Loved Enough to Know, tempo-wise, and it's just like, oh, I've been there, done that, and I might not do that again. And I'm proud of the way it's up-tempo and feels good. We did do a video for it with Bob Eubanks in the video. He was a wizard, and we were at this fair, and you know, we were throwing the softballs, trying to get the dunking machine, the cute guys in the water. It was like the girl was in charge in that song, in the songwriting perspective. It wasn't being as vulnerable. And with the music, I think the music matched that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and that is such a powerful ethos, especially for that time too. And I bet to be able to kind of put that out, and even like to see the connection with audiences when you share a message like that, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's kind of like drawing a line in the sand, but kindly, like with, you know, a smile on your face. That's what that song means to me.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, let me look through my list here, all of my notes, and decide what would be everything. Okay, I want to ask about the song Love Ain't Worth Making.
Yes.
Because it's a great song.
Thank you.
And it's got that moment near the end where your voice goes up, you hit that soaring note, and then the swell of the strings come in. And it's just this like, it's one of my favorite moments on the whole album. It's incredible.
Wow.
What can you tell us about this song? And again, I guess like listening to it, this is where I'm like, you really do have like a taste for good production, because it is such brilliant production, the way that all of these songs kind of build and flow together.
Thank you so much. Well, that one I wrote with an ex, which is really great, because this person actually prodded me along in songwriting. You know, like, you need to be writing so many hours a day, and he had worked at labels before, but we sat down and wrote this song, and I joke on stage, I used this song in particular to be like, I should have known by the subject matter we were writing that we were going to be exes, like, at some point. But I love the song because it has such a melodic range, and it's a simple sort of a waltzy feel to it as well, that you feel the angst in it, you know, like there's a little regret in that. There's a little bit of melodically, it's a stretch. It was a stretch emotionally to go through it, and it's a stretch musically to me in the spectrum, like you're saying. It's like your notes are down here and up here, like high and very low. And I always wanted to hear Vince Gill sing this song, because I thought Vince Gill would kill this song. He would just do it so well. But
Vince, come on!
Yeah,
it's so easy. Just play it.
Of course, any song that Vince sang would sound like $1 million. But it just seemed like it would fit his voice really cool. But thank you for noticing, because those are things that you think about musically, subconsciously. I'm sure that the range matches the emotions that you go through. You know.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Just like that mirror between the theme and the music and all of that. Oh, do we got another question from chat?
I think we just have a little clarifying question. Lauralee Talent McGee wants to know the song name, like the song title again, that you were just talking
Love
about.
Ain't Worth Making.
Love Ain't Worth Making.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is great too. I think I mentioned it when I introduced that song, but the big note I took is it is such a tender song. I mean, it really sounds like you're letting the listener into your heart. It's like and that's, you know, a lot of songs can be that on paper, but to actually successfully execute that in music and have it be resonant still.
And it was a very country song. Like, it had a very, some of the songs on this record were very progressive for the time, for sure. And this one was like a traditional country sounding song. I was proud of it for that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of progressive sounding things, I want to ask too about How Do I Get There?
Yes.
Which has that awesome kind of drum beat in with it.
Yep.
The note I took is that when everything comes in, I'm like, whoa, this is like countryfied disco, but in such a successful way. How did this one kind of come together?
Well, this one was the first song ever on country radio to have a drum loop in it. Ever.
That's history.
It is history.
Oh my gosh.
It really, I think How Do I Get There kind of set the trend in country radio for people's like head to open up a little bit, like, wow, there's a different influence here, you know? And I really wanted the drum loop on it specifically, because not just the groove with the drummer, I wanted the loop so that you could hear it on purpose, because I'd never heard it done before on country, and it just fit perfect. That's the way I feel my rhythm. I'm like a 2/4 rhythm person, not a downbeat 1 and 3 person. So very reflective.
The backbeat.
Yeah,
You gotta get
100%. I call it funky butt. Like, you know, how do I get there? Is funky
Producers,
butt.
take notes. You could be calling it that. Oh my gosh.
So that was a big first on country radio to have a drum loop bring a song in and take it out.
Which, talk about seeing influence or seeing how things have changed in the 25 years since the record came out. It's gotta be really cool to be like, wow.
Yeah.
I was there first.
Yeah, I think it really did change the sound of some people's approach to how that they were looking at the songs they were writing and the tracks they were creating. You know, I think it opened the door a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Wow. Well, I want to ask now about the 2 songs that you re-recorded. I know that we talked about them a bit earlier, but I thought maybe we could talk about each one at a time.
Yes.
And I'll start with, actually, I'll start with the other one, which I can't find it on my iPad. It's gone. But I guess I probably should find it just because there's so many people on it. I want to make sure I get everyone's name. All right, Did I Shave My Legs for this?
Yes.
Which has on it, and I'm going to read the list and make sure I don't forget anyone. Terry Clark, Sarah Evans, Ashley McBride, and Vince Gill.
Yes.
What was even the process of like picking out, like each song has like a different group of people? Like what was like this song, these artists? What was that like?
Well, I loved, on Shave especially, I wanted to have some girls that I'd worked with before, and Sarah and Terry have an amazing sense of humor, as well as Ashley McBride. So Ashley's our newer chica that we've brought in, but Sarah and Terry and I kind of come from the same era, you know, and they are strong artists. They're very unique in their own way and very individual. And I just could hear them on Shave with me. It was like the perfect combo to have us. And it's such a short song. It's like I could have 15 people on it. You know, we had a certain number of people to have, so I wanted to invite them specifically and to have Vince on guitar on both songs, Strawberry Wine and Shave. Vince was a huge supporter of me early on. He came to my in-store at Tower Records on West End, the first in-store we had for my new record, and he drove to the store and stood in the back like while we were on stage, and it was such an endorsement. And he was at the peak. I mean, he's still at the peak of his career, but it was at a time, especially in Nashville, when Vince Gill was, you know, hosting CMA. He was just the king of everything, and for him to come and show up, it was a big deal. So I really appreciated that. So just, that's how it came about, you know, just putting some thought into who would be a good combo with me on Shave, and we have what we got. I'm so excited.
Now what about Strawberry Wine? How'd you kind of put that team together?
Well, that took some thought too, but I had worked with Lauren, Elena, and Ashley McBride on an ACM Honors show that Lisa Lee, a dear friend of mine, it was her idea to put that together. So I kind of had a connection with them, and I had written with Lauren already. And Martina McBride came out before I even came out, so I looked up to her a lot. I wanted to include her. And then Kylie Morgan is a new artist on Capitol, and her voice is so cool, and I just see a lot of promise for her. So it's combining established artists, the ones who are actually rocking on the road right now, and bringing Kylie in and putting Vince on guitar for that as well. So it just worked out perfect.
Oh, that's so cool. And I'm sure, maybe I'll expand this into like a bigger conversation, but going back and re-recording those songs, I'm sure that was a really kind of retrospective process. And even in general, doing this entire 25th anniversary reissue, doing interviews, like talking to me right now, I'm sure it's been like a really reflective time. What has it been like to kind of put yourself back in there? Have you like looked back or heard anything new, or kind of like found new realizations about that era and about the legacy of it all?
I will say it was very emotional re-recording the songs, because I just sat and cried. I was so moved by being in the studio with these girls and seeing how much the songs meant to them and putting their voice on it. And it just meant, you could tell they, especially Strawberry Wine, they had sung this many times before, or it meant something in particular to the newer artists. That was such a moving thing. It was just, it just made me feel so special, and I was emotional. I was emotional through and Sarah and Terry and Ashley as well on Shave. It was just like, wow, I'm part of this community, and I can't believe that we're still getting to do this, you know, and we're still kicking, we're still encouraging each other through this. It's a beautiful community to be a part of. And Vince called me. I was in my pool. My phone rings. It's on the side of the pool, and it's like going, and it says Vince Gill. And I'm going, oh, my God, do I put a towel on? Like, what do I do? You know, it's like a movie scene, running around. And I answered the phone, and he's like, hey, buddy, you know, you melt. And we talked a little bit about the guitars and what I wanted and all that. And being from the, you know, child of a guitar player, and my dad passed in 2010, it was just meant everything to have him step in and just be so much part of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we talked about it briefly before we started taping, but I'm sure even on like a bigger level, going online and even like social media or like scrolling on TikTok and just seeing all the videos that have been made using your songs, I'm sure that's got to be like a whole other level of like insanity.
Oh my gosh, TikTok is so much fun. I'm like so late to the party. I just got on there like a month ago, and I've had so much fun putting all these little videos together and doing things with my dogs and around the house, and you know,
and doing the editing.
Yes, I do the editing. I love it. But it has been, so y'all have to check out my socials and my official TikTok channel. But it is just so much fun to, and when I got on TikTok, I swear to you, I'd been on Instagram, Twitter, you know, all the ones. But when I hit TikTok and I did a post, and I think within a couple of hours it had over 100,000 likes or something, and I was just going, my people, wow! Oh my gosh, this is where everybody went.
Yes.
Like, everybody's on TikTok. It was so exciting and so much fun. So I'm a little behind because I've been on the road doing promo and everything, but I've got so much footage in my phone that I'm gonna pull together. And you guys, if you go on my TikTok, you'll see I'm, you know, gonna post some things from this week and keep that going, because it's like I said, writing with new artists, I get really inspired by their tenacity creatively, what they're able to do, and I love learning. I just love gadgets and technology and gear. You know, I'm like a gearhead. I love it. So be like prepared for what's coming. I don't know.
Be prepared. Get on TikTok if you're not on it yet. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Do we have anything from chat?
Ooh.
Oh, Catherine is giving me the steady nod. This is
chat.
affirmative.
Yes.
We got questions from chat.
Back to the chat. So,
Oh my gosh.
Subjected1 wants to know, I feel like the greatest era of country music in recent decades was the 1990s. How do you feel like country has evolved since then?
Wow. Well, let's not put 19 in front of it. That makes it worse. No, I'm just kidding. That's what my son says. Mom, you're from the 1900s. I'm like, shut up. No, thank you for your question. I think, and honestly, I know it sounds like gratuitous, whatever, to say that I was in the 90s, a 90s artist, but I really feel that era is just so special, because it was where everybody had a spot. You had a ton of women on country radio, you had a ton of men, but you had bands and groups, you had duos and bands, let me say. There was just room for everybody. You know, Trisha's record sounded completely different from Reba's, or from the Dixie Chicks, or from whoever. You've got Toby Keith and Garth Brooks and Brooks and Dunn, and like so many of them, and Keith and Tim McGraw and Faith, and like I could just go down the list of how many great artists there were. And because everybody was unique, there was room for everybody. It's amazing. It's the same amazing that people actually drove to a record store, pulled out their wallet, had to walk inside and actually pay money for a physical piece of product. And we sold like way more albums back then than we do now. It's such an interesting connection to me, and I just think maybe because it was more personal or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
well, I don't think that you're being overly biased. I only caught the last 2 years of the 90s, but even from my perspective, it was a special time for me.
Yeah.
When I listen to it even, I'm like, wow, this
Yeah.
is different. I mean, you can hear that ethos to it. It's
Yeah, it was really neat. And I feel like what you heard on the radio was very reflective of what was happening on the road, because we were passing buses for days, lots of touring. Everybody was on each other's tour or festivals or whatever. And it was such a loving time, a decade in country music especially, where everybody was just working and loving it. And that has a lot to do with radio being open to having, equal turf for everybody to be played. And it was really cool. It was a great time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do we got any more questions from our chat?
The chat is really excited that you're on TikTok, so there are a couple comments about that.
Oh, good.
But we do have a question coming in that asks, what are the best and worst things about the music industry today?
Wow.
This is a
The
big
best
question.
and the worst. Probably, it's one and the same, probably, is that it's all contained like in this, in your phone or in your computer. That's the best. I mean, it's really amazing that we have so much availability and so much contact, but it's also a detriment in a way because it takes the personal side out of it, and I don't know, I would say it's one and the same. That's really the best and the worst. It's all like the same thing.
It's all there.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know if we have any more questions from chat. I know we're at 2:05 too. I have one more question I'd love to ask. That's kind of just a random question if we want to.
We love
Get
it.
that
I love those
in.
chat
Well, I'm
questions
getting-
too. They're fun.
Oh, we're gonna hit an ad as well, and then we're gonna be back with final questions, final thoughts, folks. If you're at home and you're watching and you got a question, last call.
And go to my TikTok.
Yes, you got 2 minutes to do it. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Off the Record Live. Deana,
Yes.
what's your TikTok handle? The people need to know.
It's the official Deana Carter or Deana Carter official. It's yeah.
It's got the blue
It's
check.
a blue check.
Blue check.
You'll see.
If you found us here on Twitch, I have faith that you'll be able to find it.
Yes, follow me there. Follow me because we're going to be doing all kinds of fun stuff. With
Yes.
this album release and on the road and all this stuff. The Ryman's coming up November 18th.
Oh, yes. I'm
We're
sure you're
headlining the
very excited for
Ryman.
that.
We want people to come to the show in Nashville. If you're close, come to the Ryman on
There
November
are
18th.
So many Deana Carter opportunities coming
yes.
towards you at home. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
absolutely.
Well, Deana, I mentioned that I have one last kind of random question for you, but I heard this story doing research on you, and I gotta ask because I'm just so curious. It sounds like the craziest thing ever. Bob Dylan came up to you once during a performance on stage.
It was
correct? Or
sound check.
during a sound
Yeah.
check, and he gave you a kiss and then said, "Did I shave my legs for this?"
Well, I opened for Bob Dylan on a few shows, and one of the highlights of my career for sure. And my dad played on the Skyline record and Blonde on Blonde, and he
Amazing.
played. And so I wanted to meet Dylan because I'd never met him. And I talked to the tour manager about it, and the tour manager's like, and I'm thinking, oh no, like if the tour manager's not sure, I don't know. But I waited to meet him, and Bob went out to do his sound check, and I saw the tour manager go out, and I was out by the bus, it was far away. And I saw the tour manager go up and talk to him, and Bob turns around, puts his guitar down. He was ringing his amp out, but he puts his guitar down, walks towards me, and just keeps walking. He's got the, wool hat and the bug glasses on. And he comes up and he grabs me by the head, and he just goes, lays this huge kiss on me, and he goes, "Did I shave my legs for this?" And he turns around and walks off. I was like, oh my gosh. It was so crazy. And he smelled like Willie Nelson. I'm like, what is this? No, I'm kidding.
Oh my
I'm
God.
teasing. But I mean, seriously, it was one of the sweetest moments ever. He was so sweet and kind and kissed me on the mouth.
That's an incredible story. That's a
Yes.
historic story right
Yes. He did. Deana
Oh.
Carter official.
there. Deana Carter official, folks. You can find the TikTok.
Yes. TikTok. Follow, please. That's awesome.
That's right. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
absolutely.
Well, that's an incredible story. And
Yes.
all these stories are incredible stories. So thank you so
They're so
much for
good.
stopping by and telling them all to us here.
Of course. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Folks.
I do. Oh, it's my son. You want to hear?
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Hayes. Hello?
Hey,
What are you doing?
just calling to check up.
Okie dokie. We are doing a live feed right now.
This is real, folks.
Yeah, we are. So, are you headed home?
I am. I just got out of school.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for calling. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, of course.
All right.
Keep you on the phone. But,
Okay, honey. I'll talk to you when we're done, okay?
all right.
You've got work today, right?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. I love you, bub.
All right.
Love you.
Love you,
Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to the life. This is it.
I can't see my son on the phone and like not answer, so that's okay.
Oh my gosh.
Interesting that people need to know that who you were named after.
Oh,
Oh,
yes. We're talking about
yes.
who Deana was named after.
Yes, my dad, when speaking of Jimmy Bowen, that is the connection. So my dad had a song that Dean Martin recorded around the time I was born. And that's why my name, everybody calls me Deana, but my name is spelled Deana because it's Dean Martin. So it's Deana. And Dean Martin's daughter's name is Deana as well. It's spelled the same. And the song was called It Just Happened That Way. And Jimmy Bowen produced that album. Crazy.
Amazing.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
So that was the connection, and why my name is Deana and not Deana, and it's spelled the way it is.
Well, it's so funny. I was doing the research on you, and I was like, okay, Deana Carter, like Dean Martin. And then
Yeah,
I looked it up, and I
yes.
saw the story, and I was like, whoa, it's like Dean Martin.
Yes.
It's so cool.
It's so crazy because I've met many fans over the years, and this one group of girls in particular, they were moms now, but they, listened to the record when they were in junior high school or whatever, but they said, wait, we've been calling you Deana our whole lives. Your name is Deana. And I was, it was like, yes.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
yeah, that's why it's just Dean with an A on the end. So it's easy to remember it that way. One N, and that'll help you remember.
That's amazing. Also,
Yeah.
mega shout out to Dean Martin, who will never disappear. Dean
That's
Martin
right.
is forever. He will be the
Yes.
coolest person for
Yes.
as long as media exists.
Yes,
They can't get
he's
rid
so
of him.
cool.
Every year around the holidays,
Yes.
he shoots up to like the top 100 streamed artists
Oh
in the
my
world.
gosh.
He outstreams like Cardi B. It's
Oh,
it's
yes. I
insane.
know his
Yeah.
voice is insane. I love
Oh
it.
my gosh! Wow. Well, Deana
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
it's been such a pleasure
Thank
having you
you.
here. It's been such a pleasure having all of you here, folks, at home.
Yes.
If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I'm begging you. I'm begging.
And go to Deana Carter official
I'm
on
begging
TikTok
you to go to Deana Carter's
and
TikTok as
follow
well.
me. Thank you.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
gosh.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, this has
Please.
been an absolute joy. Thank you to Twitch and American Songwriter for being our digital host. Thank you to Neon Media for being our brick and mortar host.
Yes.
Thank you all at home. Thank you to Deana again. This
Thank
has
you to
been-
you.
Thank you to me. Oh my gosh. I love you all. Goodbye. Good night.